Learning objectives. At the end of this topic, you will be able to recognize the importance of water for survival of life, appreciate the importance of water in food production and its availability, understand how important it is to take care of existing groundwater, identify and explain main physical, chemical and biological processes for water and wastewater treatment. We drink water every day to stay healthy. We need water to wash things. We wash dishes, cars, clothes, and ourselves with water. We also need water for cooking. Water provides a place for recreational activities. Water is also used as a mode of transportation. Animals and plants need water too. Animals need water to stay healthy. Plants need water to grow well. Water is also home for these plants and animals. Water is used in households, agriculture, and industries. Water is needed for living things to carry out their life processes. Water is very important for all living things to survive. Let us understand about water availability. This is our planet Earth. About 75% of the Earth's surface is covered with water. 97% of the water is salt water in the oceans. The remaining 3% is fresh water. The fresh water can be found in lakes, rivers, and streams. It can also be found underground or in ice caps and glaciers. Even though water is all around us, we should not let it go to waste. This is because water is very important for all living things. Why is water important? Think about this. Take a medium-sized bucket and fill it up with water. It contains about 20 liters of water. Assume that this water represents all the water present on the earth. Take a teaspoon of about 5 milliliter capacity and transfer 100 spoons of water from the bucket to a small container like a mug. This represents total fresh water on the earth. From the mug, transfer 30 spoons of water to a glass tumbler. This represents usable water present as groundwater. Take out a quarter, that is 1/4 spoonful of water from the mug. This represents the water present in all the lakes and rivers of the world. Do you remember water cycle that you studied in your class 6? Let's find out your knowledge on water cycle. We know that water exists in all the three states, like solid, liquid, and gas. In the atmosphere, the solid forms of water include snow and ice, which are predominantly found in mountains and poles of the earth. Liquid water is present in oceans, lakes, and seas. Water vapor, the gaseous form of water, is found all around. The continuous process of cycling of water among the three states keeps the total amount of water on the earth constant. Let us understand about groundwater. Groundwater is found in the gaps between the rocks and the particles of soil. The rainwater and water from other sources, such as rivers and ponds, seep through the soil and fill the empty spaces and cracks deep below the ground. The process of seeping of water into the ground is called infiltration. The groundwater is stored between layers of hard rock known as aquifer. We all know that the earth is full of water. The water that we can see on the surface of the earth is called surface water. Surface water is in the form of lake, ponds, rivers, and streams on the earth. But in the ground below your feet is the water known as groundwater. Groundwater is found in the gaps between the rocks and the particles of soil. At places, the groundwater is stored between layers of hard rock known as aquifer. Water in the aquifers can be usually pumped out with the help of tube wells or hand pumps. They are huge aquifers found across the world. When we dig a hole straight down the ground where the aquifer is found, the level on the ground where you first hit the water is called the water table. Below the water table, the land is completely soaked or saturated with water and is called the saturated area. Water cycle is the reason for the presence of groundwater. When it rains, some water gets soaked up by the plants, some water runs off the soil to lakes, rivers, streams, ponds, and ocean. Other water gets stuck on the surface, which evaporates back into the environment. Meanwhile, some of the water droplets travel down until they reach the water table. Once the water reaches the ground, it can stay there for a long time. If the surface of the ground is below the water table, groundwater flows out into the space, creating a body of surface water. If the surface water dries up, the groundwater can flow in to fill the space. Groundwater can also pour down from the sloping surface, creating streams called the springs. Surface water can also become groundwater. If the body of surface water flows above the water table, the water can seep down from the sediments and help to fill the aquifers. We need water, especially fresh water for our daily activities. Our water supply comes from these water resources such as oceans, lakes, rivers, streams, and underground. Let's look at each of these pictures. It shows how poor the quality of water has become. What causes the water quality to become poor? Discuss this with your friends. Then click Check Answer. Human activities have caused the quality of water to become poor. Some of the activities are throwing rubbish directly into rivers, lakes, or oceans. Oil spills in the sea. Dumping factory waste into rivers or the sea. Logging that causes soil erosion. Using pesticides for plantations and disposing of food waste into the drains. As a result, most of the water resources are now polluted and contaminated by many harmful substances. We may not have enough clean water in the future. If this continues, living things may fall ill, contract diseases, and even die. Living things cannot survive without enough clean water. So it is our responsibility to always keep our water resources clean. Distribution of water. India is a large country. Rainfall is not the same everywhere. Some parts of the country have good rainfall and are water-rich, while some other parts get deficient rainfall. As a result, some parts of the country are flooded during the rainy season. Many other parts suffer from drought-like conditions. Water management. Water management is the activity of planning, developing, distributing, and managing the optimum use of water resources. It includes management of water treatment of drinking water, industrial water, sewage or wastewater, management of water resources, management of flood protection, management of irrigation, management of the water table. Rainwater harvesting. Collection of rainwater for recharging groundwater and for the future use is called rainwater harvesting. The history of different rainwater harvesting structures in India is tankas and bavris in the northwestern part of India, especially in Rajasthan. Tanka is an underground tank to collect rainwater and bavri is an open tank in which water is collected. Rainwater harvesting can be done in modern homes. The runoff rainwater from the rooftop should be collected in an underground reservoir. The underground reservoirs are filled with sand and gravel to filter out impurities from water. The rainwater can either be used directly or can be used to recharge the underground water. If you live in an area that is prone to water scarcity, you will know that the value of water that is wasted. Imagine then how large will be the wastage of water when rainwater is left to run off. Wastage of rainwater can be checked through rainwater harvesting. Rainwater harvesting is the collection and storage of rainwater, either for using it directly or for recharging groundwater. Let's see how this mechanism works. In this system, when rain falls, the water is received on the surface, such as terrace, which is called as catchment. The rainwater is allowed to flow through the pipelines to the storage tank and to the recharge facility. These pipelines are called conduit. As the water collected in the catchment may contain debris, a mesh filter may usually be present at the mouth of the pipeline, which is used to filter the water. The conduit carries the water to storage tank for immediate use. Apart from storing, the collected water can be directed to the groundwater aquifer for later use, where the water is allowed to percolate into soil, thus raising the water table. Drip irrigation. In drip irrigation, maximum number of plants can be irrigated with minimum usage of water. The pipelines are laid throughout the rows of plants. Holes are made in the pipes at strategic points to release water in droplets. This method helps in saving the water, which is an important but scarce resource. These people are having a picnic near a river. Family A have their food in disposable paper plates and cups. Some of the disposable paper plates and cups were left on the ground when they went away. The disposable paper plates and cups fall into the river when it rains. What do you think of this situation? Will this affect the quality of our water resources? Discuss this with your friends. The paper plates and cups may pollute the river. Food wastes left on the plates may also pollute the river with oil and grease. The polluted river will flow to the sea, and this may pollute the sea too. Family A should make sure that no garbage is left at the picnic spot. The garbage should be disposed of in a garbage bin. If there are no garbage bins at the site, they should pack the garbage into a plastic bag and take it with them. They can throw the garbage away at a suitable place later. They may also use reusable plastic containers that can be washed and used again. In this way, they will not leave any garbage behind, like disposable paper plates or cups at the picnic spot. Now think of other ways to keep our water resources clean. Discuss this with your friends. These are some of the ways to keep our water resources clean. Do not throw the rubbish into the drain or river. Always keep our rivers clean. Do not pour oil into the drain. Do not pour chemicals into the drains. Use less pesticides and fertilizers to reduce the chances of groundwater being contaminated. Sewage from homes, industries and agricultural lands should be treated before releasing it into the river or ocean. Effect of water scarcity on plants. Plants need water to get nutrients from the soil to prepare their food. Plants wilt and ultimately dry up if they are not watered for a few days. The green character of the plant shall be lost. This may mean the end of all life, for a world without plants shall mean no food, no oxygen, not enough rain, and innumerable other problems. Summary. Let's summarize the topic. There can be no life without water. It is essential for all living beings. Water exists in three forms: solid, liquid, vapor. India is a large country. Rainfall is not the same everywhere. Thus, there is an uneven distribution of water. Rapid growth of industries, increasing population, growing irrigation requirements, and mismanagement are some of the causes for water shortage. The wastage during the supply of water through pipes, the leaking taps in buildings, and other places should be taken care to overcome water scarcity. Unnecessary use of water and overdrawing from groundwater should be avoided. Recharge of water to the ground should be increased. Plants wilt and ultimately dry up if they are not watered for a few days. The water cycle helps to purify and clean the water. Nowadays, human activities cause air and water pollution. Now think about this. What will happen if the environment is heavily polluted? Can the water cycle still purify the water? Will we be able to get clean water? We have seen that one way to keep our water resources clean is to treat sewage from houses, industries, and agricultural lands before releasing it into the river. What does the sewage consist of? What is the purpose of treating sewage? Why is it important to treat sewage? Think about these questions. Sewage is also known as wastewater. It consists of used water and waste. 99.9% of sewage is used water. The other 0.1% consists of organic water, such as human waste and food scraps, oil and grease, traces of heavy metals such as silver, lead, zinc, and copper, chemical waste, debris such as sand, grit, wood, and plastic, and bacteria and viruses that can make people fall ill. At the plant, sewage goes through various stages of treatment. Wastewater is screened to remove inorganic solids that are taken to landfills for disposal. After the screening, wastewater is separated into liquids and organic solids. Liquids are treated before being released into rivers or the sea. The organic solids are also treated before taken to landfills for disposal. The sewage treatment functions as a system to remove all the waste from water. This makes the water resources clean and harmless to our community and the environment.